I've been very pleased to how many new right-wing movements we've seen popping out in the USA as well as all over the Europe for the last few years. Some of them have learned a new trick or two, possibly because they had to. Since the leftist establishment is trying their hardest to silence them, they've been forced to learn new ways of attracting new people, should I say, new capable people to their ranks, and they've even managed to get a good amount of support from the normies. It becomes clearer day by day how much the Western world as a whole is affected by the flood of third world immigrants to our once great nations, and I personally have seen a lot of your everyday people, those who normally don't follow global politics on the same level as I do, to start educating themselves and picking sides on this horrific battle. So in a way, the left, as powerful and almighty as they may seem, have been playing straightly to our pockets when they constantly attack those of us on the right, because despite their successful attempts to censor us, we're growing, our voices are being heard, and we've gained a huge amount of support from the citizens of these nations that they're dead set to ruin with each move they make. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the left actually wants to ruin these countries, at least I don't think that's their first priority. The vast majority of them seem to actually believe what they're doing is for the good of the people. Here's the important question though, which people? They're shipping millions of refugees to our shores to pillage the village mainly because this way, they feel good about themselves, and they feel that their own ranks are growing by doing so. They couldn't be more wrong though. These people from the Islamic world that they're importing here aren't their friends. Actually the vast majority of them would be considered conservatives in their own homelands. So, which one would you prefer? Republicans, and the so-called modern conservatives, or the Islamic conservatives that they're shipping here by the millions? Sure, Democrats gain a ton of votes by doing so, since almost all the migrants that set foot to the Western world will, and have always in the past, vote Democrat. There are many reasons for that, and not the least is the money that the Democrats promise to them in forms of welfare checks and other so-called privileges. The latest statistic I could find was from the Pew Research Center, and it states the following. See how very tiny percentage of them vote for the Republicans? Moderate, as shown in other stats, means likely a moderate liberal, or in other words, a moderate Democrat. This is very alarming, at least it should be to you, if you're living in the US right now. It has been said that the claim that the Democrats are shipping in voters from the third world is a lie, and that they never intended to do such a thing, but the reality is, as long as they still keep bringing these people in, their motifs matter now, since the outcome will always be the same. Less Americans, more migrants, means less Republicans, less voices of the American folks to be heard in the public debate. Americans are more and more likely to lose their own identity to these invaders with every new dawn arriving, and there's only so much they can say about that, because the left's constant effort to silence any dissident voices from being heard. With Trump as the president now, we have a glorious opportunity to turn things around, but the reality is that if we are not fast enough, that situation will slide past us and it's not likely to ever return. If you're not yet ready to fight for your own people, fight for white well-being in America, the chances are, you never will be, because never has there ever been a better opportunity to voice your opinions than now, with a moderate right-winger as the president. You should be loud and proud to be what you are, to say what you think, now, more than ever. As much as I'd like these migrants to have a good future, the West simply isn't their place to be in the world, and if they failed to make things better in their own countries, they very likely won't be able to better anything here in the West, and in fact, they're likely to make things bad for all of US, as they've been doing. So, this is a message from a young Finnish man to all of you on the right out there on the bigger world. Don't let them cut you down. Make connections, meet people, talk, make new friends that agree with you, so that you'll be able to empower others as well. The left has made it seem like an impossible thing to do to be proud about being right-wing, and they will continue to demonize us, until we are willing to blow back harder than ever before. You're not alone with your concerns, as I'm not. Through this blog only I've been fortunate enough to talk to a whole bunch of great people from everywhere in the world, just because I was brave enough to voice my concerns, to say what I think. I've been blessed with an opportunity to connect to new people, make new friends, and become sharper with my arguments every day, due to these discussions I've had with others. Is there an end to all this? I don't think so. I'll likely keep writing this blog in the future as well. I'll keep harvesting these people that share my opinions about the world. And I'll become a better human being every day, just by doing so, and you should too. Now, I know how much beef the right has inside it, between different groups, and while we could debate those differences all day long, I don't think that right now we should. We should instead try to connect all the dots, and bring the right-wingers around the globe together to fight under a common flag of Western well-being, just like our ancestors did before us. We should get together libertarians, moderates, white nationalists, civic nationalists, and every group you can imagine, because in this battle, we share a common enemy, who has managed to do just that. They've managed to connect the dots and become a force to be afraid of. They've brought together everyone from Hillary Clinton to Antifa, and now, they're all fighting under the same flag of multiculturalism and unity and all that. Of course, the diversity they seek is in fact only skin deep, and that's blatantly obvious just by the way they're treating everyone who dares to disagree with them. They've been swinging the almighty banhammer of the establishment media very proudly for months now, and there isn't much we've done to prevent this from happening. To combat their desperate, but utterly successful, attempts to make Europe a Muslim-majority place in the world, we must unite and connect with each other. Together we are strong. Yours truly, Finnish Infidel.